And the notes and the links will be sent out after the call. And actually, I think I'm not going to do that this week because we're posting them now to our webpage. So you'll be able to find them all there. We will be taking questions at the end of the phone call, and we're again asking you to type those questions in the chat feature off to the left. And Eric, our board member and moderator again today, thank you, Eric Marichal, for being on the call and taking the time to help us with this. He will be sort of kind of going through all of the questions, and at the end sort of trying to help us connect them to the expert on the call to answer them. So I think we actually probably, since we're doing that, I think what we'll probably do today is just kind of quickly go around, and I think we have 23 participants. Okay, let's go around and still maybe kind of give a hello, your name, and maybe just telling us, kind of one very short, brief struggle. This information is really good for the presenters on the call to hear, so that it helps to inform their work and what they can be doing in the community to best help to help the participants on the call. So Eric, if you could start calling on people, thank you.
Sure, I'm just gonna get on the list as normal. If I skip you, just chime in at the end, and then I will skip the presenter since they'll be going right afterwards. So first up I see here is Kate Cuff.
I'm unmuted. Hi, everyone. My name's Kate. If you don't know me, I work for the Ellsworth American. I'm a reporter over there, and I'm just here to listen to what all of you have to say.
Okay, thank you, Kate. We had someone just come on, phone number ends 6576.
Yeah, this is David Cole. I'm
David.
calling in by phone today because I don't have access to my computer because my power's been out, and gee, I'm sure that's happened to a few others here today too.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Thank you. Annie Sargent.
Hi there. This is Annie Sargent from Ellsworth Adult Ed, and I'm just here listening to see how I can support everybody.
Thank you for being back, Annie. Next up, we have, looks like Leslie Harlow.
Hi there.
Hi, Leslie. Let's see.
Hi.
I think she may be cutting out, so we're going to go down to Brian Langley.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. I'm here battling like everybody else of getting computers to fire back up again after the power went off 2 or 3 times over the night, but I should be able to get video here in a minute. Thanks.
Thank you. I think for the first time, we our third week here, we have Corey.
Hi,
Hi there. Hi. I can make this thing work. I'm Corey. I'm the co-owner of Maine Alpaca Experience down on Main Street in Ellsworth. And I'm glad to be here for the first meeting. It's hard being so far away from Ellsworth, being in Unity and the drive that it is, and quarantining it all. So I'm just anxious to hear what everyone has to say.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Dale Hamilton.
Hi, Dale Hamilton, City Council and Executive Director of Community Health and Counseling Services.
All right, thank you. Next up, I see Elizabeth's iPhone, who I think is Betsy, she said on chat.
Hi, this is Betsy Arnson, Therapeutic Massage for Wellness. And like every hands-on practitioner, chiropractic, acupuncture, etc., I'm trying to pivot my business. Currently helping people over the phone.
All right, thank you. Gretchen's coming up next. We're going to skip over her and go to Janna Richards. Oh, sorry, Janna's actually presenting as well. John Stein.
Hey guys, John Stein. I'm a board member of Heart of Ellsworth and owner of Fogtown Brewing Company. We recently switched into a solely curbside pickup and delivery service. We're working still in the cellar with a very, very limited skeleton crew and figuring out the payroll protection plan and SBA loans sort of on a real-time basis. And it's been an adventure.
All right, thanks, John. Julie.
Merry Christmas. Oh, no, I mean Happy Easter. I'm not sure today, though.
Oh, Julie, you got muted there.
How about now?
Yes, you're good.
There we go. I think my power's misbehaving today, too, with the Christmassy-like weather rather than Easter. I work for Machias Savings Bank, and I'm also a board member of Heart of Ellsworth, and I am on the call just to see how I can help people and collaborate a little with everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay today.
All right, thanks, Julie. Kirsten, you look like you're up next.
Hi, everyone. Yep, Kirsten Henry, former board member of Heart of Ellsworth and business owner of Bay Meadow Cottages. And for a struggle, I guess I would say we've gotten sort of beyond the applications of the PPP to help keep our staff on board and the disaster fund application. However, the struggle is the waiting with the cash flow issue and waiting for these funds to actually come.
All right, thanks, Kirsten. Lori Chase.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I don't know what happened to my screen. I tried to do a fancy green screen, and instead I'm like the Invisible Woman, which is kind of cool too. And I don't know how to fix it, but Tom will help me, I'm sure. Yeah, we're all our orders have basically stopped. People don't want us in the house. We don't want to be in their house. I've signed up for everything on the SBA. And I just found out last night on a Jared Golden group call that the SBA has provenance for if you have an original SBA loan that they say they'll pay your mortgage for 6 months. I would like to find out more about that.
Okay, we'll try to get that answered for you. Thank you. So looks like Louie and Nicole are here. They've been presenters the last 2 weeks, but doesn't look like they're on the agenda. So Louie, if you want to speak.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Louie Lucchini, state senator, here to listen today and see if we can do anything to help. I put my email and phone number in the side chat, so reach out anytime.
All right, thanks for being back. Nicole, you are up next.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all again and some new faces. Representative Nicole Grahowski, serving the city of Ellsworth and the town of Trenton. My contact information is also in the chat, and definitely here to listen. And if there's questions that come up that I can help answer, Louie and I spend a fair amount of time on different calls with Department of Labor and Dr. Shaw and others. So we might have some answers for you, or we can try to track them down. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you for being back again. Peter, you're up next.
Hi, Peter Leone, Heart of Ellsworth board member and community member.
All right, thanks, Peter. Sarah.
Hi, guys. It's Sarah Bowden, Sugar Mags Candy Store. I'm here to kind of listen. I have a few questions, I guess, just about practices moving forward, I guess, kind of. And what will be allowable when I am able to reopen, and just kind of hearing what other kind of borderline retail restaurant people are kind of doing as far as practices of being prepared for what is next as far as safety is concerned when we are able to open. That's kind of one of my topics of concern, I guess, moving forward. I guess that's kind of the big thing for me. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Sarah. And then the presenters will be going, and feel free to type any questions into that chat feature as well, and then we'll try to get those answered at the end. And you'll have time at the end to also chime back in. All right, so next up, we have Shannon and Susan, who are both presenters. So we're gonna skip over them. And on to the Artful Aid.
Hey everybody, sorry you can't see me. My power just went out and internet's out and I'm hot spotting and just, you know, doing all I can to be here. So it's nice to see all of you. And I think my question still remains about the documentation piece needed for self-employed to apply for pandemic unemployment. I have some clients who are curious about that as well. And that's what my question is today. So thank you.
All right, thanks for being on.
Yep.
So I'm guessing Nick says the grand.
Sorry, here I am. Hi. I was reading the email from the schools. It looks like school is out for the rest of the school year, except for remote learning. But yeah, just hanging in there. Hi, everybody. Great to see your faces.
All right, thanks
the backdrop.
Thanks for being back. Tom, also a week 3 person. You're up.
Hey there, Tom Beal, partner of Mac Revival and Archangel Computers down on State Street. We're still in business. I'm still looking for if anyone is in need of a computer for students at home. We have donations available, so please let me know.
Great, thank you, Tom. So it looks like Amanda and Tony are presenters. So Kara, I think that is everyone, unless I missed someone. Hey, Kara, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think we just had Nate Hansen show up and possibly maybe one phone in. So if there's anyone else that we haven't heard from yet, maybe Nate, you can start by introducing yourself.
Sure. This is Nate Hansen. I'm a board member of part of Ellsworth, and I'm also Pinniped Kayak, a kayak instruction company. Glad to be here again. Hello to everyone.
Thanks, Nate. And did we get to whoever's phone number ends in the digits 6576?
I think we did at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be me, David Cole, city manager.
Okay. Thank you, David.
I had to unmute. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as Eric pointed out, and I just again want to point out, both Representative Nicole Garhowski is on the call, as well as Senator Louis Lucchini. Both of them are here to answer questions. So we just again thank them both for being on the call. This afternoon, we have 6 presenters. It's kind of tight, and I'm possibly sorry for the overload of information, but there were just a lot of great people that had some things to contribute and words that they wanted to get out. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to introduce them one by one, and they will be able to chime in and to begin on their topic. So the first person up today is going to be Shannon Byers. She's a small business counselor for SBDC and CEI. Shannon?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy to be here again this week. These have really been, I think, just fantastic meetings for everyone. So just in the few things that we've been working on with clients mostly this week, of course, the economic injury disaster loan, lots of questions around when will I hear back from the SBA on that one. We've been told 3 to 6 weeks for them to process those applications. And we're also being told that if you filled out your application during the first week or two that was available, you really need to go back in and resubmit an application on their new online, very simplified application process. The ones that were submitted, if you submitted it on the first week, you would know because it was a horrendous, terrible experience online. Where you had to download documents, upload documents, and do all these like acrobats to get your application in. Those, Maine was the first state to be eligible to actually apply for these. So Mainers, unfortunately, had to suffer through these first 2 weeks while they worked out the kinks. Week 2 was when you had to download a whole bunch of PDFs and then fill them out and upload them. So if either of those applications sound familiar, go back in, just resubmit. And you'll know you've done the right application because there will be a box that you check that says, I'm interested in the up to $10,000 loan advance. And if that sounds familiar, that's the right application. So that one is the economic injury disaster loan is a loan and also has a grant component to it. So most people, I think, have been able to work through that application. 3 to 6 weeks. You don't get an email letting you know the status of your application. It kind of feels like it's just kind of gone out into cyberspace, but they are working on those. The other program is the Paycheck Protection Program, and the banks are working with customers to get those filed. I'm hearing people are getting approved very, very, very quickly for those, and the funds are coming pretty rapidly. So if people have concerns about kind of cash flow, the PPP seems to be the piece that's coming most quickly. So I'd encourage you to work with your bank to get those applications filled. The question around how do you document income for sole proprietors or payroll for sole proprietors has been a bit challenging. Maybe, I'm not sure if Amanda Tupper is on the line. She may be able to answer the question. We've been encouraging people to use net income if you're a sole proprietor. Unfortunately, a lot of small businesses just take a lot of owner's draw. And so that's hard to capture that for the payroll protection program. Somebody asked about the SBA debt relief. So these are for anybody that has an existing SBA loan, whether it's a 7A, 504, or microloan. The SBA is going to cover and pay 6 months of that payment, including interest. So your lender should be reaching out to you to give you more information. If they haven't already, I'd say just reach out to them and confirm that you're on that list. And I did put my information in the chat, so feel free to reach out one-on-one if you have questions.
Shannon, thank you so much. I think you hit on a lot of really great information that people are probably very relieved to hear directly from someone in the know. So thank you so much for that. Maybe I might just, since we're a little bit ahead of schedule, if there's anybody who has a question right now for Shannon, maybe put it in the chat bar and maybe we can get to it right now, kind of do things a little differently. We are quite a bit ahead of schedule, so. And
Lori has a question there. Lori, that is automatic, that the SBA will be covering those payments for you. Yeah. And I believe the 7A rolled out first, the 504 and the microloans are coming. So if you have a 504 or microloan, you might not have heard quite yet.
All right. So thank you again, Shannon. We'll move on to Amanda Tupper, who's Executive Vice President of Business Banking with Machias Savings Bank. So. Oh, let's see here. Amanda, is that working? Maybe what we'll do is we'll go on to Gretchen Wilson and we'll come back to Amanda just to kind of save time. So Gretchen is the Executive Director of the Ellsworth Area Chamber of Commerce. Gretchen, thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to have you on the call.
Absolutely, nice to see everybody. Just a few updates on the Chamber. We are an organization that is ineligible for payroll protection plan and the SBA disaster loans, as we are hearing. So I have had to furlough my staff in order to save some income so that we can, when businesses start to open up, we can bring them back in and at least have some saved income in regards to payroll, since we are not going to be able to apply for any of these loans. So I'm sort of a one-man band right now, and if you're not hearing back from my staff, that is the reason why. Are, however, doing as much as we can online. I am in the office a couple days a week, checking phone calls, that sort of thing, and we are continuing with our Tuesday e-news, and then Wednesday is a director's update. If you're on our constant contact list, you would get both of those. The Wednesday director's update is based on all of my meetings with everybody from SBA to associations to senators, et cetera, during the week, and trying to get that information condensed and distilled and put out to you all. This morning's meeting was with the state director of SBA, for instance. One of the things that we've heard from our businesses is having that opportunity to find out from particularly the city what things are going to look like moving forward. So we are setting up some small business sector discussions with city officials, and we're starting with the small retail businesses next day. If you did not get an invite, or I'm not sure if they've even gone out yet, but if you do not get an invite by Tuesday, please email me, G. Wilson, or go through the chamber website. You can find our email addresses there, and we will get you on that small business retail call. We're also expecting Curtis Picard, who's the president of the Maine Retail Association, to also be listening in on that. Our idea behind that is the opportunity for a small group to talk with both David Cole and Janna and Dale in regards to what they're doing or what they might need moving forward, as well as to kind of hear each other. And oftentimes ideas bubble up in these kind of meetings as to, oh, I didn't know he was doing that, so perhaps that's something that I can do as well. Other than that, business as usual, right? Any questions? Anything I can help with? Please let me know.
Gretchen, thank you.
Somebody asked, what is Curtis's position? Curtis is the president of the Maine Retailers Association. It is a statewide association that does lobbying work and work for people that are their members and small business retailers around the state of Maine.
Thank you so much, Gretchen. And if there are any other questions, we can certainly connect you with them after the call. We're going to try again. Amanda Tupper has phoned in again. Hopefully this will improve her connection. Amanda Tupper is the AVP business banker for Machias Savings Bank. So Amanda, if you could.
Can you guys hear me this time?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, so let's try this again. So super excited to be on the call, here to support you guys, whatever you need. Shannon went over a lot of the loan offerings that we're able to offer. Obviously, there's one directly through the SBA, but then we are, just like every other bank, are getting inundated with requests for the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. Just from a Machias savings standpoint, I have some updated numbers as of 6 o'clock last night. We have secured funds for 612 small businesses around our community, obviously all of Maine. So I think that's pretty impressive if you think about 612 loans in 1 week, because we were able to start accepting applications last Friday. That amount is over $108 million. So that's what we have actually been able to secure at this point. We are still working so hard for all of you guys, trying to get these through as fast as possible. We've taken people from their regular positions, kind of switched them over, taught them how to input this into the system for the SBA so that we can get as many as we can going for you. My suggestion is, if you're not talking to your bank right now, you should be just whatever they can help with, whether it's loan deferments, whether it's with the PPP, whether it's, you know, working with you on your regular mortgage. We are all in this together, every single one of us, and we're you know, you guys are going through it, trying to figure out the application. We're trying to figure out how to accept them. But I think the main point is together we will get through this. But if you're not talking to your banker, make sure you reach out to them ASAP and see what they can do for you. Any questions for me?
Amanda, thank you for addressing Lori's question directly. That was great. And if there are any other questions for Amanda or for someone else at Machias Savings Bank, feel free to stick it in the chat and Amanda will certainly get back to you. And I think she put her email directly in the chat. If not, I'm sure she'll do it again. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. And again, thank you so much for sponsoring this program. Without Machias Savings Bank, we would not have been able to pivot so quickly to offer a new program to everyone, open, free, and open to the public. So thank you. The next person up is Susan Chappell. I hope that I have pronounced your name correctly. Sue is a certified public accountant right here in downtown Ellsworth. So thank you, Sue, for being here.
Thank you, Cara. Susan Chappell, CPA. I am right on Main Street in Ellsworth. Cara asked me to talk a little bit about the income tax implications of COVID-19. So a lot of this you may already know, but I'm just going to sort of summarize. The April 15th deadline has been extended to July 15th. That is an extension of time to file, an extension of time to pay any taxes that are due. It's also an extension for the first quarter and the second quarter payments. So at this point, nothing needs to be paid or filed until July 15th. That also includes contributions to health savings accounts and to individual retirement accounts, Roth accounts, traditional IRAs. Those are also extended to July 15th for your 2019 contributions. And then after July 15th, requests for second extensions to October 15th are possible. So we can talk about that later. My advice to my clients is let's get your 2019 tax returns filed now and put the payments out there later, but might as well get the filing done. It's not going to get any fresher. So there's a lot of talk about the stimulus payment. I wanted to talk about that briefly, or the economic impact payment, as is the technical word for that. Full payments will go out to individuals at $1,200 per person and $500 per dependent. Full payments are made for those with adjusted gross incomes, and that's line 8B on your tax return if anyone wants to check it. But if you're a single filer and your adjusted gross income is below $75,000, you will get a full payment. And if you're married filing joint filer and your income's AGI is below $150,000, you will get a full payment as well. The IRS is going to use your 2019 tax filing. If you haven't done that yet, they will use 2018 tax return. If you haven't filed either one of those yet, now would be the time to get one or both of those filed. Taxpayers whose only income is Social Security do not need to do anything. They don't need to file a return. Their economic impact payment will be directly sent to them. And the other question I'm getting a lot is about the bank account, and supposedly there will be a portal made available where people can input their bank account information so that the payment will be directly deposited. More on that when I hear more. So, scamming is a big thing right now. The IRS is concerned about. So, just to summarize, the IRS will not call, they will not email, and they will not text anyone about the stimulus payment. So, please spread the word to people, especially older people that are often more vulnerable to this. Don't give out your bank account information in hopes of getting stimulus payment sooner. They will not call, they will not email, they will not text. It will be by mail. They will send a letter. And they actually will send a letter within 15 days, supposedly. They will send a letter within 15 days of sending out your payment, indicating how your payment has been made, so people that don't receive it can follow up and figure out where it went. Lastly, most of my time lately has actually been spent helping my clients figure out where to turn for help. taxpayers are confused. There's a lot of jargon, self-employed, independent contractors, gig workers, sole proprietors. What am I? They're all the same. That's all one and the same. And for the first time ever, this group is eligible for unemployment, as well as all of the other loan opportunities that are out there. So, you know, people are confused. Do I apply for the PPP, unemployment, the EIDL? How do I do it? When do I do it? So I just want to say I'm happy to help, and I've put out to my clients and everyone here, I'm willing to be to listen if someone has some questions about where to turn. I don't have all the answers. We have the banks out there, and we have Shannon with the SBA, but I'm available for phone calls, and there's no charge for this right now, just to guide people in this for all these programs that are going on right now. So please reach out if you have any questions regarding any of this. Thank you very much.
Kara, you're muted if you're talking.
Sorry about that. I need to stop muting myself. Any words, Sue? Someone's wondering if there's any word on when to expect the stimulus payments.
All I've heard is they're going to begin sending them out next week. I've also heard that if you're not set up for direct deposit, it could be as late as August or September. So I feel like it would be nice to be set up for direct deposit.
And just one other comment from Annie Sargent. She said that it was very helpful and generous of you, Sue, to go in and offer your services and expertise. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. I hope I can help some people through this, because it is a challenging time for all of us.
Thanks, Sue. Next up is Janna Richards, the City of Ellsworth's Economic Development Director.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you again this week. I just have 3 items that I'll touch on, and I'll go briefly, and then if you have questions after, then I can answer some questions or give more detail. The first is just an update. Last week when I was on the call, I talked about the business resources and information and community resources and information page that we've set up on the city's website. Based on some of the stuff that Shannon has said about the old application forms for the SBA disaster loans, we're going to go back in and clean that section up on the business section so that it points to the most recent and up-to-date and gives the most up-to-date information on that. Otherwise, I think we've gotten everything out that we can on the business side of things. I would say the next thing that we're hoping and waiting for on our end would be any guidance from the Department of Labor on when some of those unemployment programs are going to start rolling out. I was part of a Zoom call that probably some of you were also on I think it was Wednesday in the afternoon, and their sound quality, unfortunately, on the Facebook Live feed was not so great. And they actually had to cancel the meeting. And so anyways, we're looking for more information on that. And as soon as we hear that, we'll get that out on the city's website. The other updates, we worked with Nicole. Again, thank you for a lot of your feedback on the community resources side of things. I have gotten some individual emails from members of the community who wanted to be added to the community resources bulletin board, and that's fantastic. We did update it, but in updating it, we realized that it's not exactly user-friendly or that readable, and also it's pretty time intensive to go in and update a spreadsheet and then a PDF and then get it to our IT department. So we've actually come up with a new format for the community bulletin board that's going to be, in my opinion, a lot better visually, a lot more user-friendly, a lot more easier for our staff to go in and update that. So stay tuned. It should be ready mid next week. So it'll be the same information, just a different format for people to see online. So those are the main changes. Oh, we also added all the governor's orders, as well as the city ordinances and regulations pertaining to COVID. They're also up there. And then any changes to city business, trash, etc. That's all up there. So I do welcome you. I'm gonna type in the link here one more time in the chat so you can check that out. If you have any questions or you want to make any comments or feedback, I'll also put in my email address for you. So you got that. I wanted to sort of offer this up. You know, the city obviously is here to listen. And also, I think I just want to congratulate some of you guys on being very innovative during a very difficult time. I know, John, if you're still on with Fogtown, you're offering delivery and curbside. And Sarah, I think I saw Sugar Mags was doing Easter baskets. And I think, you know, a lot of you guys are transferring to online services and things like that. I think that should be commended. I think it's really innovative, different. You're still trying to stay alive in an environment that is very difficult. If there's anything that the city can help you with from a permitting or regulatory standpoint when it comes to trying to be innovative. So for example, if you're doing takeout or you're doing something where you need more parking spaces and we could help potentially block off parking. I know there's not much traffic on the streets these days and parking might not be so hard to find, but if there's ways that we can help and be innovative with you, and all you're looking for is potentially a way for the city to be able to allow or permit that, please get in touch with me, and I can speak to obviously the city manager, council, and then code enforcement to see if those things are feasible and just work with you, because we really want to try to spark that innovation and make sure that we're doing our part so that you can continue your services. So I think that's it. I said I had 3, but I really only had 2.
Thank you very much, Janna. Is there anyone that has any questions for the city that that they would like maybe to direct towards Janna now? Feel free to either put it in the chat feature and we can get to it at the end, or to even speak up now if you want to unmute yourself. Okay. Next up, Janna, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, as well as Dale Hamilton and City Manager David Cole. We appreciate all of you hearing directly from our downtown businesses and concerned citizens, so thank you. Last on our docket today is Tony Cameron. He's the CEO of the Maine Tourism Association. Last week, we heard a lot of you asking a lot of tourism-related questions, and so our board president, Phyllis Young, had the idea to reach out to Tony Cameron, and we were very lucky to get some of his time today. So Tony, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's there's definitely a lot going on, and I'll hopefully leave with a little bit of optimism in some of my messaging. But just to give a brief overview of who we are, so the Maine Tourism Association we're a trade association that's made up of about 1,500 members statewide. We represent all segments of the tourism industry, and that's going from retail, hotel, restaurants, attractions, and so on, the full gamut. We operate the 7 state visitor centers. We also produce the official state publications for the state of Maine. And we work with the state and the Maine Office of Tourism to make sure that we're delivering a good experience for visitors. And we also advocate on behalf of the industry. So a big part of what we've been focusing on is trying to weed through all these resources, all this information, and deliver those resources in a clear, concise way and timely manner to our membership, and also to try to make sure that we can help position the industry to come out of this whenever that may be. Some of the optimism is that, you know, we look back over 100 years of tourism, and it's been the backbone of Maine's economy. There's been several industries that have been, you know, very successful, but over the last 100 years, tourism has remained extremely sustainable. And it's seen a lot of global events take place that have had an effect. And the big message is that tourism is resilient. It will bounce back. I think the big question that we don't know is, exactly the timing of everything, and also what the travel trends will look like, the consumer behavior. This is an event unlike anything else. And so we're trying to prepare to help come out of it when it happens. And so what we're doing right now as some of our messaging to our visitors and also to businesses is, take this time right now to plan for your vacation. While you're sitting at home, take that time and try to plan for those days that, I think that this experience is an opportunity to realize that you really shouldn't take for granted those memories and those lifelong experiences that you make when you go on vacation. Idaho did an amazing campaign a few years ago called 18 Summers, where it talks about you only have 18 summers to spend with your kids as they grow up. And so I think that the situation, if there's a silver lining to it, might emphasize that fact that we really shouldn't take those experiences for granted. In the meantime, what we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with some itineraries to help spoon feed our visitors, especially right here in the state of Maine, because we don't know the travel trends. And the best thing that we can do is once we start to come out of this and it's safe to travel, we're going to encourage Mainers to explore more Maine, what has to offer. Maine's an incredibly large state. It's very diverse. It has so many amazing recreational opportunities. And so we're working to create some regional itineraries that we can help spoon feed some of that information, even to some people right here in the state of Maine. The best thing that we can do to support each other is to go out and shop locally, eat at local restaurants, explore parts of Maine that you've never explored before. And as you folks know, right there in Ellsworth, you guys are in a major tourism region, and there's certainly a lot to offer. And so we're going to do our best to help get those resources out there and help our partners get promoted. We're also going to be, right now, as far as our association is concerned, we're also going to be offering 3 months of free membership to any business that's not currently a member of the Maine Tourism Association, so we can help relay and provide resources to businesses that might not have them right now. And a lot of these are resources dealing with SBA loans, the PPP, different tourism trends, any marketing tips to help plan for moving forward. There's definitely some educational benefits there. We send out timely resources every week, and as we've gone through this process, sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis, as things change so quickly. Highly encourage anyone that wants to access some of the knowledge and the resources that we have to provide, certainly to take advantage of that. We'd love to be able to support everybody right now. We're clearly in some uncharted territory, and tourism and hospitality and travel has certainly taken a major hit, and it's still unclear as far as how much of an impact that it will have. It's as we just don't know how long it's going to go. But my optimistic side is that tourism is 100% resilient, and it will thrive as we come out of this. And so I appreciate everyone's work and efforts that they've been doing. It's been incredibly encouraging to see how people are reinventing themselves and doing some amazing things. And like Gretchen, we feel your struggles as a 501c6 organization, as we're not eligible for some of those opportunities, loan opportunities. However, I think that there is some hope down the road. We are encouraging and have been in touch with our federal officials to hopefully get some of those changes made so we could be eligible. But happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Thanks for that. This is Nate Hansen. Do you have any indication on whether the short-term lodging ban is going to persist beyond its current expiration date?
That is a great question. I really don't. I want to thank the Commissioner Johnson at DCD for giving us a heads up before that hit last week. I don't. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, public safety is obviously the biggest concern. It would be ideal if it didn't go any further than what it's already stated as being April 30th. I really don't. I can't speculate on that, unfortunately. I'd like to have that crystal ball that everyone could have.
Hospitality Maine is allowing businesses to take reservations, I believe, starting with May 3rd. Correct, Tony?
Yeah, well, you can still take online reservations and reservations for any other months. You just cannot take online reservations for the month of April. All those reservations have to be done by phone to confirm or verify that they are essential people who are taking those reservations. But future reservations can still be booked, and that's where that planning for your vacation part, certainly we hope people will do.
Well, thank you so much, Tony. If there are any other questions for Tony, please type them in the chat feature. We really appreciate your time and your leadership, Tony. It's been really great to have you here. I did get a message from Brian Langley, who owns the Lobster Pot here in downtown Ellsworth, and he wanted a moment. So, Brian.
Thank you, everyone. I wanted to sort of congratulate Tony, on his new position as the executive director of the Maine Tourism Association. I serve on that board with Tony, and he just newly got that position. But so we've had a lot of conversations, as Tony was saying, about really how to promote Maine when we come out of this. In Ellsworth Chamber, Tony was the director of the Ellsworth Chamber for a while, for members who were on this call that don't know that. So, and Bar Harbor before that. So Tony knows this area probably as well as any other area of the state. We had back, I think I've been a member for 30 years or so. The Ellsworth Chamber Guide used to have these daily, these itineraries in there. If you have one day, here's what you do around the area. 2 days to spend, here's what you should see. And so as we'd had those conversations about really trying to promote that inside of Maine, my wife and I, years ago, after the season ended, we packed up the kids and went to Belfast. They put a little package together. We stayed at a hotel, it was a motel. Then we went on a train ride, and then there was a dinner involved in that. And so one of the things that we might consider as a community of businesses is how to put together a package that really would promote Ellsworth. Hopefully we'll have train rides and certainly places to eat and things to do and see. So as we figure out how we're going to win this game going forward, I think between all of us, we have quite enough neat stuff to offer people here in Maine to come and see. I firmly believe that people will want to travel and want to stay in Maine, but they're too lazy to do all the legwork. So if we put some things together, some packages, maybe we can convince them, maybe more of them to come this way. Ellsworth's a great spot to come and leap around Hancock County from. So I just wanted to, sort of publicly thank Tony for the work he's doing, because he is kind of a homeboy for us. He's spent some time here. So with that, I'm all done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Eric, I think there's a couple of other questions that have come in the chat feature.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it looks like we answered most of them along the way. There was one from Janna for either Shannon or Amanda. If you receive PPP, is there a time frame deadline in which you need to use the 75% for payroll? Can you hold the money if you are a summer business?
I can answer that one for you. So the way that works is you have as soon as the funds are distributed, you have an 8-week period to use the funds, and then you have to prove to the bank that you use them for the appropriate reasons. It's my understanding that you can use up to 25% of the funds towards utilities, but really the rest needs to be going towards payroll because it is a payroll protection program. So, and once you prove that you use the funds accurately at that point, I don't know how this is going to work, but they're saying that the loan will be forgiven. If I do get more information on how that process is going to work, I'll certainly share it with you guys as soon as possible.
Thank you so much for that. That's very helpful.
There was, I think Dale had wanted to say something. So
Great.
Thanks. I just wanted to raise one question. Obviously, the earlier question about the lodging ban, obviously the city took action and then the governor took action. And that's, I'll just speak for myself in terms of where we are on the curve and the necessity for public health. I think as the curve starts to change, obviously there's still concern about a second wave and all of that. But I think it would be important to think about, in terms of especially the lodging, what are the ways of mitigating some of that, the ideas that you have as businesses for that continued awareness of physical distancing, so that it's not just an all or none approach in terms of if there's a place where we still need to do something, but we don't need to do it to the extent that we are in terms of physical distancing. Having those ideas on the front end in terms of how businesses might be structured a little bit differently, maybe more spacing in restaurants or something like that. I'm just wondering if that might be beneficial to have those discussions and pass that along to the people that are making those decisions, so that there might be consideration of alternative plans to protect safety, but to also get us back in the economy.
Yeah, Dale, that's a good question. So I'm actually the revenue manager for Witham Family Hotel. So we were operating, obviously, some hotels, which they're all shut down now, except for the Hampton and Ellsworth, just for essential travel. But yeah, we've been thinking along those lines as far as we'd already moved, most of our hotels do continental breakfast, so most of those have moved to like a kind of grab and go breakfast. We've even been thinking about restaurants as far as, are they going to require half the tables to be out of the restaurant when we reopen, to kind of keep that distancing. So it would be interesting to have that conversation with other, hospitality people for sure.
Thank you. We have one more thing to discuss. Lori, would you go ahead? Let me unmute you.
Sure. So with everybody staying home and cooped up, there's no money, there's a lot of stress, there's a documented rise in domestic violence happening in the state right now. There is a poster project going on that was set up by Patricia McLean, a domestic violence survivor. And I just posted the link on there. It's called Finding Our Voices. And she has asked me if we could find at least 15 businesses downtown that would put the posters up in their windows for a while. It's not like we have a lot of foot traffic going on right now, but it's still something we could all do to just sort of help create an awareness and know that it is happening more and more right now. It's just like February all over again, which I've always called it Domestic Violence Month. So it would be a good thing to support. And if anybody's interested, Kara and I'd be happy to contact them.
And the best thing that we can do is, so we can kind of keep a running tally. If we can get 15 in the town of Ellsworth, specifically in downtown, if you would just put your name in the chat feature and just say next to a poster, then we can get the posters here to Ellsworth and we can get them to the merchants in downtown that have window space. And I just wrote JV Atlantic Building in, and just write your location and just write poster next to it or something. And if we can get 15, we'll get them up to you folks and get them up. So we would really appreciate everyone's support. It'll be nice to support other towns that are doing projects. If there are other questions, please feel free to also type those into the chat feature, and we'll do our best to get back to you folks and connect you to the right individuals, specialists in the area of the question. I also wanted to ask if everybody feels that this is helpful. I would love a thumbs up. If people feel like this is kind of starting to take its toll and it's not really helpful, I would appreciate people's candid response. We just want to make sure that the programs that we're doing are offering a value added here in downtown. So if people are interested in us continuing to do this, we're happy to do so. And also Kirsten Henry, past board member of Heart of Ellsworth, still performing her secretarial duties. We appreciate you taking the notes again today. And I see Tom Beal virtually clapping, so thank you so much for that. And I thank you all for taking time out of your day, connecting, letting all of the folks on the citywide and the statewide level kind of know what your concerns are, what your needs are, and what your questions are. We will certainly continue to connect you folks. And in the interest of ending early, we are at 12:57. So thank you all for being here, and I appreciate your time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
Thanks.